Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of my eyes are everywhere. Welcome to part 2 of the first Vie de Merde website sample. So I really advise you to check it out. If you've seen this video before, the other one, Vie de Merde is a series of comedy anecdotes in French, and we're translating them because it's great learning for you. It's quite funny and it's really good vocabulary. So the next one. Aujourd'hui, je viens d'apprendre par Pôle Emploi qu'ils me déduiront, ils me déduiront une demi-journée car j'ai eu le malheur de m'absenter de ma formation une après-midi en décembre. C'était pour un entretien d'embauche. Entretien d'embauche. So today I've just learnt from the job centre that they will deduct half a day as I've had the misfortune of being absent from my training for one afternoon in December. It was for a job interview. Let's go through and check. So je viens de, as you know, is I've just done something when you talk about time. When you talk about I've just done something, as in I've only done that, you can use the word juste. So I've just eaten fish, nothing else, j'ai juste mangé le poisson. I come from eating fish, je viens de manger. As in I've just eaten fish a while ago, je viens de manger. Okay? Pôle Emploi is basically the job centre. Yeah, I think where you will end up to find a job. Emploi is a word for a job. Okay? Qu'ils me déduiront. Notice the accents on the E. One of our tui's a verb. So produire, yeah, gives us production. Séduire gives us seduction, séduction. Déduire gives us deduction. Yeah. So they will deduce half a day. Notice it's a journée because we're talking about the length of the day, the specific day. As, car, can be translated as because, no problem. J'ai eu le malheur. I have had the misfortune, yeah, or the bad luck. Ça porte malheur, that brings bad luck. Malheur. Now you're used to that, because how do you say happily? Heureusement. How do you say unhappily? Unfortunately. Malheureusement. So you've come across that before. De m'absenter, to absent myself, to be absent. Notice it's a reflexive verb. De ma formation. Now, formation is the word for training when it's a mental training. If it's a physical, like as in skills. If it's a, well, as in mental skills. If it's a physical training, normally that's an entraînement. An entraînement. Yeah, like when you train yourself physically. I train myself, je m'entraîne. Yeah. Une après-midi. Now, this is a divisive word, even in French, amongst French people. We often debate whether it's male or female. Yeah, some people say it's more correct to write une après-midi rather than un après-midi. Okay, apparently both are now formally accepted. En décembre, very important word to remember the accent on. Décembre, same as février, okay? C'était, remember, even though your verb is a what être verb, être, when you go into the was, you know how to form the was. Wishy-washy plus a sound, so c'était, you're going to switch this accent to an acute. So c'était, pour un entretien, great word, an interview. Yeah, we've got interview, but entretien, entre is between, tien is hold, so held between two people. Embaucher is to hire somebody formally. So an entretien d'embauche, you could have said an entretien, we'd know in context, but otherwise embauche would be a job interview. An entretien d'embauche, okay? Aujourd'hui, malheur, mon chéri. So, aujourd'hui, la mère de mon chéri m'a fait une crise car je chercherais à tout prix à changer les habitudes de son fils. Okay? Comme lui demander d'aller se laver les mains avant de passer à table. So today, my mother, the mother of my boyfriend, of my darling, freaked out on me because I would be looking for, as in hypothetically I'm looking for, at all price to change her son's habits, such as asking him to wash his hands before going to the table, going to sit down at the table. So let's look at the grammar. So aujourd'hui, la mère, notice the graph, de mon chéri, again this sound, notice the acute, m'a fait une crise, la crise. Now la crise is also the recession. When you talk about the recession or the world recession, like the Euro crisis, la crise, okay? Car je chercherais, as in I would look for, as in hypothetically, I'm trying to, à tout prix, so at any cost, change the habits of her son. So basically, I'm using, she's quoting there, okay? Where have we seen habitude? I'm used to, j'ai l'habitude de, or je suis habitué à. Fils is a weird word to pronounce because we shouldn't really pronounce that S, do we? We've gotten into the habit of not pronouncing consonants when we don't have a vowel after them. So fille, girl, we pronounce incorrectly because it should be fille, but we don't. We say fille, yeah? So I'm not saying we pronounce it wrong. I'm saying the way we pronounce it doesn't follow the laws. Fils, son, we're pronouncing the S, okay? Comme lui demandait d'aller se laver les mains. So instead of saying asking him to wash his hands, it's asking him demander à quelqu'un de, d'aller se laver les mains. So with body parts, you often use the reflexive. I broke my leg, je me suis cassé la jambe. I myself broke the leg. You don't often tend to say the with body parts, okay? Avant de passer à table. Passer à table just means to sit down, okay? Notice before doing something, avant de plus infinitive, okay? Next one, aujourd'hui, oh this is hilarious. Aujourd'hui, j'entends ma fille de 2 ans rigoler dans son lit. Je vais donc la voir et la horreur. Oh, there's a comma. Elle avait enlevé son pyjama, son body. It's a bit difficult for me to read because I post them into Word, and Word, I've got my English word on rather than my French word on. So they're all in red and in bold, so they're a bit obscure. Okay, so je vais donc la voir et là, comme horreur, elle avait enlevé son pyjama, son body et sa couche et s'amusait comme une folle avec son caca. Bleh. So today I hear my daughter of 2 years giggling dans son lit in her bed. I go to see her and there, horror, she had removed her pyjamas, her little body thing, what do you call it with babies, combination thing, body stocking, her onesie, and was amusing herself like a mad person, like a mad woman, with her own poo. So, entendre, verb to hear. Notice the entendre verbs. You've learnt the soft hard method. Vent, 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 entend, entend, entend. Notice the spelling. Entend, entend, entend. J'entends with an S, tu entends with an S, il entend nothing. E-N-T-E-N-D. Okay? Ma fille, there's the pronunciation, ma fille, de 2 ans, rigoler. So I heard my daughter of 2 years laughing. We don't say rigolant. Yeah? We don't say, bother with that. We say, j'ai entendu ma fille de 2 ans rigoler. So we just use the to laugh. Rigoler is to giggle, but I think we tend to use it more in France than rire, to be honest with you. Don't make me laugh. Tu me fais rigoler. You make me giggle. Tu make me laugh. Dans son lit, in her bed. Je vais donc la voir. So I therefore go. Notice the donc is coming after the vais. Je vais donc la voir. See her direct object. Not lui voir, la voir. Et là, with the accent, with that way, sorry, the graph, because it's the other way around for you, horreur, horror, okay? Elle avait enlevé, she had removed. Now this verb enlever, like the verb lever, so j'enlève when it's the core, but enlever the pronunciation. So she had removed, notice that she had removed, elle avait, spelt with the was in the middle, yeah, middle word had is elle, so elle a pris, she took, elle avait pris, she had taken. So elle avait enlevé, she had removed her pyjamas, her onesie, and sa couche is her nappy, her diaper. And was amusing herself, was enjoying, s'amuser, notice the was, comme une folle, like a mad woman, yeah, folle feminine, from fou, folle, avec son caca, with her poo, with her turd. Aujourd'hui, comme il neigeait et étant la seule interne de ma classe, j'ai été la seule personne présente à tous les cours, toute la journée. Today, as it was snowing and being the only intern in my school, the only like boarder kind of thing, I was the only person present. Sorry, the only boarder from in my class. I was the only person present at all the classes all day. So let's travel through it. As it was snow, so comme is as or like. So as it was, you know, like me, comme moi, but also as it was snowing. Now notice, neiger, the verb N-E-I-G-E-R, neiger. We're not spelling it. So if we had parler, P-A-R, let's do some writing. So, hurrah, some writing. So if we had parler, and we then went into the infinitive, the imperfect, notice how we just go parler, parler. That's awful, Luke. Your R's are terrible. But the point is, you would knock off the ER and then you would put the ending on. Now, the reason we don't do that with neiger is because if we did do that, which is wrong, Okay, if we did do that, which is wrong, it would say neiger. Because if you look, neiger, the proper version, N-E-I-G-E-A-I-T, I've got a G and an E, and the E softens the G. Yeah? If you had G-A, it would give you ga, like garage, okay? And you can't soften that one with like a cedilla, like you can nous commençons, yeah, or ça, okay? So the C we can soften with the cedilla, we can't with the G, we need an E. So neiger, or we eat, nous mangeons, N-O-U-S, M-A-N-G-E-O-N-S. You need to keep that E there, which is very surprising to some people. So aujourd'hui, comme il neigeait, and being. Now, being is a form of the verb called the gerund, the ing form. Most gerunds are the nous form, where we swap ONS for ANT. So in speaking with Luc, I discovered he was French, whatever. En parlant avec Luc. No. Remember, we don't use that for continuous tenses. You don't use ing every time you say ing in French. So if you said I am speaking, you don't say je suis parlant or I was speaking, j'étais parlant. You simply say je parle or je parlais. But if you use it in like more formally, so in speaking with him or wishing him a happy birthday, you're going to use the ing form. So the three verbs which don't have the en sound, so no, they have the en sound. The three verbs which don't work like the nous form, unless I've forgotten any, are avoir, savoir, and être. So having would be ayant. Yeah, so having spoken, ayant parlé, or après avoir parlé, of course. Knowing would be sachant, similar to the subjunctive sache, and étant. You have this in the phrase, given that we're going to be late, perhaps we could say étant donné que, being given that, okay? So, as it was snowing, and being the only, so it's feminine, la seule, S-E-U-L-E, rather than S-E-U-L, intern, so person who's resident, in my class. Remember, classes, as in I have language classes with Luc, cours. Classe is the group of people, la classe. La salle de classe is talking about the people that are there, not the classes, okay? J'ai été, I have been. People don't like j'ai été. They get so used to j'étais, I have been, because j'ai été and the été part sound identical. But obviously été, E-T-E, E-E-E, yeah, the accents, and été different. So I have been, or I have been the only person présente, notice, accent again, à tous les cours. Now, we've done this tout conversation before. If you use the word all plural, masculine, T-O-U-S, and you're talking about how many of what's coming up next, so how many of the classes? All the classes. Then you will not pronounce the S. If you use T-O-U-S and you're not talking about how many of something, so we're all going to go, nous allons tous y aller, whatever, okay, we will pronounce the S. All day, toute la journée, feminine specific day, okay? One more in this one. Aujourd'hui, je rentre en avion d'un week-end agité. Ma voiture est garée à 300 mètres de l'aéroport. Mes clés chez mon pote à 1000 km. So today I get back from by plane from a busy weekend. My car is parked 300 meters from the airport to my keys with my mates 1,000 kilometers away. So, je rentre. Notice rentrer verb to come home. En avion, rather than I fly back. Yeah, we wouldn't say je vole. Yeah, that would be a bit more, no, you know. Je prends mon vol, the adjective, but not je vole. Okay? En avion d'un week-end, agité, busy, agité is to shake, you know. Ma voiture est garée. Notice feminine garée. Garée is to park. Where do you think we get garage from? So, je vais me garer, I'm going to park, reflexive verb, or actively, j'ai garé, transitively, la voiture. Okay, j'ai garé ma voiture. À 300 mètres. Notice garé has got an E because it's a feminine car. À 300 mètres. Notice maître has got a grave. De l'aéroport. Not l'aéroport. Or l'aéroport. L'aéroport. My keys, mes clés. Okay. Chez mon pote. Pote is another word for friend. Okay. À 1000 km. So again, mètre, kilomètre with the grave. And à. Yeah, I live 200 meters from the church. J'habite à 200 mètres de l'église. Okay, so you're going to have this à with with distance. Okay, final bit coming up in the third and final thrilling installment. I hope to see you soon. If you like this video, please click like, subscribe to the channel if you are new.